The biggest stories in sports today, as always, the college football playoff approves a 5-7 model where we are now going to get the 4 highest ranked conference champions and the highest ranked G5 conference champion auto bid into the college football playoff, and then the next 7 highest ranked teams. But will that be the setup, or will the Big Ten and the SEC make college football history today? When the managers meet today, the playoff management committee is going to meet today, and it is expected that the SEC and the Big Ten are going to ask for more spots and more money. Jake, do you believe that they get more spots and more money?
I just don't know how they wouldn't get more spots and more money. They have all the leverage. They've got all the ammunition they need to go out and get this type of request done. And again, I think you have to consider who's asking. I mean, again, if it was the Big 12 or the ACC asking, yeah, you're probably not getting that done. But because it is the Big 10 and the SEC, because they have been the ones to dominate the college football playoff, because frankly, they're the ones that control the money in college football in the big picture, they have every right to ask for more. So to me, yeah, I do think that it will be granted. I do think that we come out of today with some type of maybe, I don't know if it's a final decision today, but I certainly would expect momentum forward. Absolutely. And maybe we do get a final decision. But the point is, I do not expect it to be, no, that's not happening. I don't think that's the direction we're heading. We are definitely heading for, hey, the biggest and baddest in college football are going to play in a God tier. And there's going to be a ton of money attached to that. And it's the natural evolution, right? Like, obviously, because you are the biggest and baddest schools in college football, you're going to attract more advertising dollars, more TV time, basically just more of everything. So again, to me, this is a very reasonable ask. And for the Big Ten, what's really interesting is this dynamic of, yeah, you haven't been the best football conference top to bottom, but you've done enough, right? You've been in the college football playoff regularly, and you've got the money. So I don't know how you get around that fact. They control college football, and that's why I do believe this would get done.
Yeah, I think it's hard to ignore the influence that the SEC and the Big Ten have. I don't think there's any doubt. And I think the other thing here is, how much consideration does the college football playoff committees and the managers, how much consideration do they give the G5? Are we at a point in history now where we're just going to write the G5 off into their own championship? Because I think that's one of the only solutions here. And it is why I think you had the Pac-12 too fighting so hard.
Yeah.
It's interesting, some of the conversations I had yesterday around what enabled the college football playoff to get this 5-7 vote to a unanimous level. People are saying that there was a negotiation behind the scenes, and that instead of $6 million a piece, that the Pac-2 are going to get $8 million a piece.
Right.
And that they were essentially given $4 million in total for the next 2 years to take a hike. And I think it's a very interesting dynamic because, as Kirk Schulz says, and as we've been telling you since really October, Kirk Schulz was never going to be able to stand in the way of the college football playoff going to a 5-7 because he doesn't have the leverage or the relationships. And the one relationship he has that he really needs is the Mountain West.
Right.
Because a 5-7 gives the Mountain West a better chance, albeit still slim, gives the Mountain West and other G5s the opportunity to put 2 teams into the college football playoff. Does that continue? I struggle with this. Right. And I think a lot of the people we talk to in college football and in the TV industry, they struggle with it.
Well, I just think there's such an opportunity to elongate the playoff season for college football. Like, you look at,
certainly,
you look at college basketball and, even if it was a tongue-in-cheek comment, like, the 3 weeks we get of the bracket, like, that's a great 3 weeks for college football fans, but you're also talking about 3 weeks. So when I look at college football, I say, okay, obviously we have bowl season, but the bowls are really just kind of blah. Like nobody really gives a damn. Like the biggest thing that I remember from
December
bowl season,
bowl games.
yeah, like the biggest thing I remember is the Pop-Tart Bowl where all that stuff happened. The players ate the Pop-Tart. Okay, cool. That's fun.
Or
But
Caleb, like in the comments section yesterday when we were talking about Caleb Williams in the NFL draft.
yeah.
Oh, he was crying after a bowl game. Why do we care about that? Why do we care that he missed a bowl game? Or I think we have to stop valuing December bowls and put more value on the college football playoff bowls.
Yeah, and I think we need to elongate the New Year's Six series, if you will. We need to take the environment that's created in the New Year's Six bowls, and we need to elongate that, and we need
more games of leverage.
Yeah, and we need to that's where I think the G5 conversation comes in because yes, the G5 is not going to go out and beat an SEC or a Big Ten team or frankly even mid to upper tier Big 12 team. With all due respect, you're not beating them. So if we can take the G5s and we can give them an opportunity to lose to the big boys and then go out and compete for a championship at their own level, that's a great thing for the sport.
And I think this again, I bring back the ACC question. If the ACC somehow dissolves, and I am one of the people, especially after a couple of conversations I had this week about what happens if the ACC and Florida State, they find a road to come to a negotiated separation. Are you really telling me UNC is going to hang around for that? Are you really telling me that Duke's going to hang around for that? Are you really telling me that Clemson as a football university is going to hang around for that? Because you look at what's at stake at Florida State. If they wind up paying the ACC, and again, I've been told it's $300 million at a minimum. If they pay the ACC $300 million to walk away, I think it is going to be very difficult for North Carolina and Duke to just hang around.
Yeah, I don't think you can just hang around as those are two power brands. And they've taken a step forward. And I know, Riley Leonard leaves Duke. I get it. But you still have big improvements happening in those two on the football field.
But the Big Ten, as it's been described to me, is desperate for basketball. They know that they are missing a massive chunk of revenue because they're not getting a significant tournament share.
Yeah, and obviously, UNC and Duke are great fits in the Big Ten. I think we all agree on that. That's not really a difficult thing to understand, but I do think that, when you look at the ACC, the question of, okay, if everyone's going to leave the ACC, if the ACC melts down, that's just encouraging the God tier setup. Hey, like let's move away from conferences. Let's have tiers in college football, and we'll schedule out of those tiers. And what used to be non-con games, will now be, hey, there's a requirement that as part of your 12-game football schedule, you got to have 2 G5s on there, let's say, or you got to have this or that. Like that's what they're gonna. That is why, if you remember. We're in February last month in like early January, we talked about, hey, this idea that Charlie Baker's rolling out this concept of what he called a subdivision, what we're calling a God tier. That's why they did it, because they can see the storm brewing in the ACC after what happened out west in the Pac-12.
It is the only way to satiate the G5 and the have-nots in the P4. It's the only way, because it keeps your conferences together and it allows these universities that want to play at this higher, more expensive level, it allows them to thrive, and it does not crush the lower tier. And I think when you look at the ability of a Minnesota to take the money that they leverage in the college football landscape through this NBC, this massive Fox NBC TV deal in the Big Ten. I don't know. Does a Minnesota, does a Purdue, does an Indiana? I mean, you think about the lesser teams in the SEC. Does Vandy ever make it into a God tier? I don't think so, because again, the one thing that is so striking about the Big Ten and the SEC when you compare the two, the SEC is so damn dominant on the field.
Yeah.
And they make so much less in TV money than the Big Ten, who's not dominant on the field.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's so shocking to me. The Big Ten I understand it. You've got, the supposed $100 million windfall. I totally get that. But if you're the SEC, the SEC is the one who I think has really been driving this ship because they have clarity that they can't do this on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they recognize that if they go and they try to do a cash grab, all that's going to do is either make them more money and give them more access or create a God tier. Because you can't tell me that the Big 12 is just gonna sit by and idly watch this happen.
No, and I respectfully with the God tier setup, I think you need the Big 12 just by sheer volume of teams included in the whole concept. Like you can't just have 24 teams and that's it. If you're just going to combine these two conferences, like that's not enough teams. You need more in the upper division to make it all work. And that's why I say I think the Big 12 will always have a spot, and it really helps you. And again, this is what we talked about with George Kliavkoff in the Pac-12. Just the same way it hurts the Pac-12 and continues to with what George Kliavkoff did and didn't do as a commissioner, it helps and pushes forward the Big 12 that Brett Yormark knows how to do business and knows how to be creative and find solutions.
I look at this meeting today, and I think the other thing, and I know several people in the comment section have said this, and let me see if I can find Ward Manuel being the chair now. Robert Fowler, there you go. Ward Manuel being the chair of the College Football Playoff Management Committee, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because, again, I think Michigan is going to struggle for the next several years to get into the college football playoff. I think they're going to have a tough time, and we'll find out again. September 21st, I think, is a huge day.
But hasn't that always been the messaging and the brand from the Big Ten? Hey, even if we're struggling, we're still making more money than you. We're still in
absolutely.
Control.
Yeah, and Michigan's going to get their TV money no matter what, right? But I think the Big Ten sitting on top of the totem pole right now in the committee makes a difference. I think it matters. So we'll see how it all plays out. Boss Frog, good morning to you with a $100 donation.
Appreciate you, dude.
Thank you. Overdue on my Monty dues. Here's a C-note to support the show and allow me to torment Tanner in the group chat. You guys, our Monty members only Instagram chat is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It has been. Now Dakota shows up and, we forgive him. Maybe the word is tolerant. No, I'm kidding. Guys like Dakota Tubbs, Tanner Plummer, Boss Frog, OG Gary's in there. I mean, all the heavyweights are in there.
Yes.
Which is why I'm in there. It's a weight
thing.
But it's a phenomenal group of dudes. Hit the join button. Join our members only content. DM Jake. He'll get you into the members only Instagram chat. It is a phenomenal group of guys.
Yeah, we're doing prize picks in here right now.
We are. Yes, we appreciate Joseph Harper, the king of all prize picks.
Yes.
But we appreciate guys like Boss Frog who support the show because we can't do this show without you guys. I think you've seen our business model is changing. We are back in mornings, and we are far less focused on our partnerships as we really focus on our content now. And I think that's exactly where we've wanted to go, and we've talked to a lot of you about that. That's the other thing. We always reach out to our members only group. We kind of have we have our own Monty Show management committee,
right?
Whether you know it or not. But join the members only group, support the show. We appreciate that. We always appreciate your tips. Anytime a guy like Boss Frog gives us $100, we put it right back into the infrastructure of the show. All of your membership dues, whether it's $9.99 a month or $1.99 a month, go right back into the infrastructure of the show for things like wall wraps, better lighting. We really appreciate that right here on the Monty Show. So thank you for that. Boss Frog, always good to see you. When are we gonna get back out and golf?
Yeah, man. Well, we have already golfed. I mean, it's when is Boss gonna join us,
Yeah, because he did not join us. Well, we worked together.
Kind of.
I was F-bombing though.
He did a ride along. Yeah,
we need to get Darren Ingram. We need to get together this weekend.
Yeah.
Gotta get the swing tune. Because we got some big golf coming up. We're going to spring training in the middle of March. Looking at Greyhawk on that trip. Going down to Copper Rock in St. George. Love some Copper Rock golf the first weekend of March. Got some big golf coming up. So we need to get with Darren Ingram. No finer PGA professional. You need a teacher. Darren does great virtual lessons. He does great video work. I cannot say enough about Darren Ingram. Also in our members only group. on Instagram. Funky Ingram. What's his name on Instagram? I want to make sure I get it right. There's a number in there, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it's Funky Ingram 7.
I think that is probably true.
That's correct.
But Darren is the PGA Pro up at
Funky
Canyons.
Ingram 007.
There you go. Darren Ingram is the PGA Pro and the director of golf up at Canyons Golf in Park City, which is our home course all summer long. We've played with a bunch of our listeners up at Canyons. We love doing that. But if you're somebody looking for golf lessons, you guys, there's no better teacher. Darren Ingram absolutely changed my game. And if you want yards off the tee, if you want better iron play, that guy has absolutely changed my swing.
Yeah.
So I am stoked to get back out, but good to see you. Hey, real quick before we get too far away, let me read some of your college football comments because we do need to get to Dak and his $60 million contract.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Mike Smith, long time no see. Miss you, Mo. That sounds like a bad song. Miss you, Mo. Exactly right. Phenomenal Hebrew. My guy, where have you been?
So, dude.
Phenomenal. Good to see you, man. Dakota Tubbs, miss you, Mo. Sounds like a sound that South Park would write with some super twangy country accent. Miss you, Mo. Exactly right. Hey, Monty. Brandon Butler, I punch way above my weight class. I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that. I also wish very well tonight. Wish you all the best. All of our Real Salt Lake opens their season tonight.
Oh, Monty, how is Real not on the backdrop, man? How did it not make the graphic, man?
It didn't make it intentionally. Real in Inter Miami, Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
His Adidas line got crushed yesterday on its release. Those Sambas are sweet, though. Real and Inter tonight. So good luck to all of my RSL supporters. Appreciate you. RJC, man, bottom line, Notre Dame is the outlier everyone seems to not mention because the power they yield will implode the Big 12. I don't know how they implode the Big 12, but I think there's only one place they're going. It's the Big 10. They have always said that the Big 10 is their football home if they're ever going to join a conference.
Yeah.
And if the SEC and the Big 10 are successful today in this meeting, I think there's no choice. This is what we've always talked about with Notre Dame. Remember, access to the playoff, TV money, and scheduling. Well, now access to the playoff is very limited for them. If the Big 10 and the SEC grab 2 more spots, it's very limited. And any way you slice it, they've got to win 4 games now. So it's going to be a longer road. That's why you play the games, Jake. That's right. D-Rock. College football playoff quarters, 12:31, 1-game fiesta, 1-1, 3 games, Peach, Rose, Sugar Bowl. I think you got it. We got to get to 16.
Yeah.
In a minimum. But I think December football has to matter in college.
Yes.
And the layoff, I think, is too much. Listen, if you're one of the conference champions, you deserve a bye week. You do. But the month of December being 0 games is too much, in my opinion. Big Blue Horses. Manar. Who's the worst MLB owner? Oh, it is Fisher with the. There's no doubt it's Fisher with the A's. The guy does not want to win. Period. He does not. Go Astros. Hell no.
Come on, guy.
Shohei is a freak of baseball genetics. Oh, and it's about loyalty and not just a job. Okay, there's a lot in that. The Cubs don't spend money. Period. They don't. And now they own part of the PGA Tour. Congratulations. It's like Ryan Smith and the Utah Jazz. They don't spend money. They're not going to spend money that it requires to win. If they happen to trip and fall into a playoff run, great. You traded away your 2 biggest contracts and did not replace that money.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger is just sitting out there waiting to sign with the Cubs. Has said he wants to be a Cub. They're not even negotiating with him. According to Tom Ricketts, the sit on your wallet guy that owns the Cubs. You know, RJC, man, Notre Dame is a New York school, Holmes. Okay. OG Gary, Notre Dame is a perfect fit for the Big 10. They have USC and Michigan as rivals and probably will add Stanford later on down the road. I don't disagree with that at all. Thoughts about the Royals tying up Bobby Witt Jr.? I think it's the only move you could make, and you're getting a new stadium.
And I think it's always good to have a franchise player. It's always good to have someone that's making the most money, that's the most marketable, that that Kansas City can get behind. I was actually in Kansas City when he signed that deal.
Rolls.
And people were excited about it.
A certain somebody in your life is a big Royals fan.
Yeah. And, so everyone was all excited about that. And that's cool. Bobby Witt Jr., that's cool. That's cool.
Whatever. It pisses me off that I did not pick Aiden Hill last night on Taco Tuesday. I actually stayed away from it. It cashed.
Okay.
Why did I do that? I love Prize Picks, but the worst thing you can do on Prize Picks, is not download the app and use a promo code Monty. You get 100% deposit matching. PrizePicks.com. The NBA is back tomorrow.
Finally.
Can't wait.
Finally.
I love Prize Picks hockey. And Aiden Hill was the Taco Tuesday on saves yesterday. And I was like,
Hey, you want to do some Call of Duty today, dude?
Shut up. I got ass blasted on Call of Duty last time around. I'm not even kidding.
I got ass blasted, bro.
I did. I do some Call of Duty.
Oh, look at it. Look at this one right here. Look at this special on Prize Picks. Lionel Messi and Austin Matthews 1.5 goals.
Austin Matthews has been red hot.
Now you got to say more. I'm gonna say more on that right there.
PrizePicks.com. Use the promo code Monty. Get 100% deposit matching. Do it. It takes 3 minutes. Download the app. Put in the promo code Monty. You put in $10, they'll give you 10 more. You got $20 to play with. You can play for a year on $20. And if you're Joseph Harper, that is what you win every single day or more.
Yeah,
it's wild.